Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is another wonderful session of To You Experience. Today, I'll be chatting with my brother and friend all the way from Atlanta, US. His name is Shuyi Oluwafemi. She is a singer-songwriter. My first experience with him was when I met him 2 years ago. The first song we did together was In Your Presence.
Yes, sir.
Yes, So I was part of the video session with she at the time, and there was another video later. It was Our Savior. But my interest in she actually grew from the first time I met him. So he's this very quiet and calm person, as you can see on the screen. And I did a bit of digging, and I found out that he's actually an IT guy too, despite the fact that he's actually a singer and a musician. And I found out also that Sheyi started singing at the age of 4.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he wrote his first song at the age of 12. So there's so many exceptional things about Sheyi himself. And he basically moved to the US, I think in 2002. So without saying too much and spilling so much out of the bag, I would actually ask Sheyi to introduce himself. Sheyi, thank you so much for accepting this call to come on this platform. It's a huge honor, I must say. Thank you so much. So Sheyi, I know I've introduced a bit about you, and I'm sure that you didn't know that I actually dug a bit of things. I don't know if you wanted to share that, but I actually just dug it out. That you started singing at a very young age, and you wrote your first song at a very young age. So before I ask you any questions, just something that I don't know, Sha, you could just share with us on this platform.
Well, yeah, but I want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. It's I'm grateful, and I really thank God for this opportunity to be able to allow people to know who this, I'll say, small boy is, and I'm still, still growing in the knowledge of His Word, and So, just like you said, music has been a part of my life's journey, and a lot of the times you're growing up, your parents, I kind of I ask them, what is this with music for me? So, and they told me that this was how this started. Growing up, when the Nigerian community where we usually live, usually gather the kids together at a very young age and we just, sing. And so that's actually continues into, I think when I was, like 10. So it was from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, and that never stops. So just, bringing people together and it never stops there. So the children church, back then in Nigeria at the age of 5, see, this is not even funny anymore because the teacher in the children department noticed something about me with music. So, and then when the children gathered, the teacher will usually pick me to lead the children, like a special song. So, God used, my children teacher to, them to be able to also, understand, this whole thing about music. They got it. And then, it became, I think I should just stop there. So that was how music started. And then before we go further, for me.
Yeah. Well, like I know you were young then.
Yes.
Basically, some of the things that happened then were actually told by your parents.
Yes.
Yeah, but the thing is that because he was there, that's why it's also visible today, and because you went through that process, that's why it's also visible today. But before we get to that, actually, the little part that you can remember about your younger years, how? So you have a gift. right?
Yeah.
How did you use that to interact with your peers at that age?
Okay, so I'll now continue. So from the age of 10,
Yeah.
music never stopped. So that actually helped me in the core of this Christian journey for me. Because, one thing, I don't take things of God lightly. I'll say it this way. Where I'm at today is just by his goodness, and that's the core of my belief. And so that's what music has been for me. Though I have a full-time job, I do, but without the music, and it's like I'm not, complete.
Yeah.
So my journey was incomplete. So I began to dig deep down, that there's something about this. I'm not only dreaming about this. And so the journey too has always been involved musically. So growing up, I knew there's something God wants to do with my life with music. So
Yeah.
I discovered that this is the purpose for my life.
Yeah.
So, at the age of 12, 13, even when I was in high school. So, sorry, Nigeria, we call it primary school, even at my primary school, music never just leaves me and, the church. So this happens that even while I'm ministering at church, there are other folks that are pretty much older than I do. They were the youth choir. Never knew that they noticed something about this music for me as well. So they, anytime they have they call it geeks then, and these guys they were in the university. I wasn't in the university then. So they come to my house and pick me up and tell my parents that I need to join the group. So it wasn't, I noticed this growing up, and other people within the community, like church and schools, noticed it. So that's also, gives me more, I'll say, that really helped me in the journey to not take this gifting that God has given to me lightly. So I began to pursue, music, and not just pursuing music. So writing music just comes. And, so the writing aspect is something that if I don't really even sit down to just, write these things. It flows. And when it comes, whatever I'm doing, I just have to pause. So most of the times, God just opens music deep down to me through the word. So that's how most of my songs comes up. It could be through my morning devotion. It could be while I'm at work. The Bible passage will just flow through my spirit, and God just turns it into songs for me. So that has been my everything with music for me. So it just continues year after year. I can't just leave it alone. Even up until my secondary school, did few semesters in Nigeria, joined the Christian Union, at school, and I can't stop. We sing special numbers. I'm not sure if you know what that is. Like
Yeah, I understand. Special
yeah,
numbers, I know.
special numbers. And then we had this group, three. I don't know. We don't even really do a cappella, but we're just three guys. If we don't sing at church, even the pastor will have to tell us, the head of the Christian Union, like these groups are going to be ministry. So I knew there was something God, has been saying to me, and so I don't take that aspect lightly.
Yeah, lightly. I understand. So so now that means your younger years was pretty much busy. Yeah, pretty much
In
busy.
terms of music.
Yeah, yeah. So how did you manage that with education? I know, we're Africans.
Right.
Anybody listening, our parents normally, especially us from Nigeria, I'm not saying it's different elsewhere, but I'm just saying what I know from our own society. Our parents take education very,
Very
very,
serious.
very serious.
Yes.
It's not a joke. And so So how did you manage both music and education?
It's funny. I think it has been God. Even as I'm talking to you, I've got that questions over and over. How do you do this kind of music you're doing, and then you still be able to jug work together? So, well, my teenage into, I think my early 20s, again, to tell you, just has been God. Uh, for some reason, we're able to balance everything. And it's funny, the kind of parents we have, like you said, and I told them, I think I want to go in the direction of music. I told them,
Hmm.
then I try to tell you, there's no money in music.
Mm-hmm.
You can't major in music. What are you going to get out of it? This was then, I'm talking about maybe 18, 19, and 20 years old.
Hmm.
It wasn't something, it was a gifting that I recognized that God has given to me,
Yeah.
But again, I just never stopped, pursuing that gifting. Even while I was doing every other things that I was doing then, but the music still stays, you know, uh, with me. And so, I spoke to some of my uncles about it. They told me, you can't do music. You might have to do something else because then there was no money in it. So it's like sometimes you get these, I won't call it rejection. They'll tell you, do something else. But deep down within my spirit, the,
You knew.
the music has always been there. It never leaves. And then, you see, I used to have these books. Then it was more than one book. Just writing songs. And those books, you also need, that environment. You mean the environment, the people, to be able to also. So I would see the people around recognizing that gifting and
Yeah.
telling you not to stop, keep on moving. And then for me, I'll take the books that and I call it music books. I wrote different songs.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I pray, God, these songs, I know some days they're going to be out there. All that I need to record these things, make it happen. So I never stop writing. Songs never stop coming. But again, I kept on, believing God for, just to continue to release these
Yeah.
songs through the word to me. So, even right now, I don't know. Someone asked me, "What do you do full time? Yeah, are you a musician, or you are into this IT program?" I told them.
Yeah.
So this is how I answered the question. I said, "Listen, what God has done for me, the goodness of God upon my life, can't. Uh, it just have to. It comes first for me. God comes first. And
Yeah.
so whenever God makes provision available, whenever He releases new songs to me,
Yeah.
I have to get it out there. I have to get it out there.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
and so that's
Wow.
that's
Wow.
that's my
Yeah.
little journey with the music.
I just really, while you were talking, like so many questions just keep coming to my heart to ask you. And I pray that um the younger ones that will listen to this conversation, just these first few minutes, would pick one or two things, because I know some are actually very scared
Right,
sometimes to express
right,
themselves when it comes to what comes into their mind. Express it in the sense that put it in paper, write it down.
yeah,
You understand? Let's say
right,
you have a music dropped in your heart, write it
right,
down.
right.
Some really don't really know how to express themselves in those regard. But another question I want to ask you, just on the flip side. So you knew you had a gift.
Yeah.
Just this funny question. Did you play soccer when you were young too?
Oh yeah. I did
You
as
played
well.
soccer.
I did.
So basically you had a lot of giftings that we probably have not, you've not said to anyone yet,
Yeah,
and probably you've not even discovered yet, but you probably had a lot of giftings.
yeah,
Now, um, so as a young child,
yeah.
at some point, did it get into your head that you were special, better than other kids? And if it did, how did you manage that situation?
Well, well, in terms of being special,
Eh,
I never. All honesty, I never. Uh, I didn't see myself that way. I felt,
Okay.
yeah, I felt it was just, we're all uniquely, we're all different. And God has made us in a unique and a special way. So recognizing and know we're all also gifted in different ways. So for me, like I said, it was something that I questioned, asked my parents, that's why this thing, because like I never uh seems to leave it alone. And I'm talking about music.
Yeah.
I never seems to leave it alone. So then that was when they told me that growing up, this is who you were,
Yes.
So, and it's funny that I've got a few other siblings too that they've got a gift and they can also sing, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So, but it's just that, for me, I just feel that, and we're, every one of us are all different in our ways. So I never look at myself that, oh, listen, I'm just the best kid on the block. No, I just feel that it was just the grace, of God, you know, upon my life. So,
Mm-hmm.
and so I mean that's the way I see it. Even the soccer you're talking about. I know, like in the block, there's some people that can play better than you do.
Yeah.
But again, you've got a striker, you've got a defender, you've got a
Yeah.
midfielder. So when we all come together, so
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll bring the
That's,
best. Yeah, so
yeah. Yeah.
me
So
too.
yeah, why studying you? Why like studying you and try to getting to know you better? Amidst the fact that we discuss and talk,
Yeah,
but separately, why like looking you up and all that? Yeah, I found out that you've held leadership positions as a choir director.
yeah,
Yeah, then you understand. You basically you both you're an international music I would say it basically. You're an international music star. That's it's sealed. That's what it is. Now, so but before you got married,
yeah,
and I'm hoping that this will liberate a lot of people. And it was essential for me to ask you this question because of your personality.
yeah,
You're very calm and collected. You focus on what you're doing. And it comes with some certain, you understand, what would I call it now? Temptations,
yes,
right? It is
yes,
normal for
yeah,
folks in the music world, an
right,
artist, to go
yeah,
through that.
yeah,
And and like I said before, I know I'm asking you this question because I believe you can better dissect it because I know that you basically live a very focused and you understand straight life. Yeah.
yeah,
But the thing is, talking to young folks out there. So before you got married, who is
yeah,
your experience to preach them? So before you got married as a young um, uh, music talent,
yeah,
you became a choir director.
right.
Now, how did you manage the attention coming from everyone? Both attention from the fact that people see you as a music star and people want to come around you. And also, the second part is as a music star, women also
Yeah,
tend
yeah,
to want to come
yeah,
closer.
yeah.
Now, so those are my two questions. How did you manage those scenarios?
You know, I'll tell you this, that for me it has been God, you know, and it's still God. Growing up of God. My parents were not pastors, but
Oh,
my mom, she's not a pastor. My dad is not a pastor, but there's this thing that they've always said that you pray this prayer, God will give you your own. You know how African parents, your own wife,
mhm.
and just keep the focus on God, and God only in the right time will bring
Yeah,
your wife to you. Hey, but there's so many distractions out there. So, but my thing, again, like I said, it's there've been times that you know you see women, the women, and so I said something to God, that God, these are distractions.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to just help me to focus on you and you only. And then mind you, there are times that, if I opens up more and just tell you that at times when I was in college, you see, okay, I mean, you don't even understand why some people, I mean, again, you're talking about women, and then they come, they tell you, oh, this and that. Well, for me, I always go back to the word of my mom that they will say the things that you don't want to, that has always been our quotation. Things that you don't want to eat or something, don't sniff it or
Smell it.
something. Don't smell it. So that has always been. And again, I came to the United States 2020, late 2022. That was when I came here. I was in my teenage, like I was actually turning 20, I think 21 or 22. That was when I came here, you know.
Yeah.
And so for me, then it's always been, just focus on your studies, focus on your studies. But again, again, the distractions are seeing, you know, things that I already used to see back when I was in Nigeria. And then, but I made a promise. I said something to God that God, there are so many distractions here in this land, but I want to live for you. I know you brought me this far, and it has to be you and you only. So, I mean, I said that because I, the journey has not been, it wasn't, you know, a very straight journey, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but, but what I mean is I've allowed, uh, my core value to be, if
Mm-hmm.
it's not Christ focused, then it's nothing else for me.
Mm.
If it's not Christ focused, it's nothing. And I said something too, even before I came here during my teenage years, that uh, I can't hide Christ. You know, there's so much that God has done for me to, it can't be hidden, it has to be seen.
Yeah.
And so that is just who I am. And that's what I've my, uh, I've seen my music to always be about,
Yeah.
and nothing more, nothing less. Because even where I'm at today, it's just, by His grace and mercy, and So that is, I mean, yeah. So that's it for me. And I don't really say too much, to people about maybe being a choir director and stuff like that. But again, at some point, you meet bloggers or people say people have to know who you are, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's it for me.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of relationship with God,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
So like when they hover, like it happens. Like so choir directors, like people will come around you every now and then.
right.
So how do you see who is coming for something? They have an issue, you need to talk them out. Sometimes it might be prayer, sometimes it might be liberation out of something, sometimes it might be
Yeah,
something that has to do with the music you just taught them and all that stuff.
yeah.
Why in some cases just people just want to just come around you, right? And just attach themselves to you. How do you separate it? How do you see who is coming for real and who is coming just
Coming for
to
something.
something else? Yeah.
Right. Okay, I'll tell you this. It was the church I was going to in New York. That was when I was, given that title. I was the choir director. And there's something about me, and this is very honest. A lot of my choir members, they knew I live on Long Island, but majority don't know where I live.
Mm.
They don't know. They know I'm Long Island. So there are a few people that will ask me that, we don't understand you. You're not even inviting us. Now I'm talking specifically about women.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've had this thing, it's so funny because at times when you're praying to God for something, hmm,
Yeah.
I was a choir, when I was a choir director, I wasn't married then.
Yeah.
So I was praying to God for my own born of my born. And mind you, my wife, uh, she used to live in Maryland. So, she used to live
Hmm.
in Maryland. So she wasn't in New York.
Oh, so
So
she's my sister. You have to pay
yeah,
down.
so 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 I was able to, and then even the choir director thing, it was what the pastor, again, I'll tell you this. I never knew what the pastor, they didn't tell me ahead of time to prep me. I came to
Hmm.
church and they told me this person didn't know this. He's just knowing today. That was how the position was given to me.
Wow.
Yes, that was how the position. It wasn't something I never lobbied for it. I see. My thing is, it's all just Christ focused for me.
Yeah.
Even I can be in a choir. It's not about the title per se. It's just using what God has given to me to be able to um, you know you know work together as a unified body. So few of the people in the choir will always want to know where I live, but I made that as a my place is not a place where I just invite. Now specifically, I'm saying women
Yeah.
because again, I don't know. I think God just and this is from a very honest point because I've had some of my cousins and some people that will ask me that how are you able to do this thing again? Mind you, not that you're not getting um, you know all these things from ladies that how you doing? You know how these things are. But again, I'll talk to them. But again, I always just don't want to miss when my bone is around the corner by
Yeah.
just engaging in because I mean that's me because I feel that and I don't want to lead different people on, you know, and they were we have I mean the choir is very uh, balanced. You have teenagers, you have youth, you have grown-ups, and stuff like that. So, but I they see that part of me. It's all about the work of God, and so whatever we're doing, you know, it has to be the work of God. And once we're done, everybody, everybody's gone, to their own thing. Some will call afterwards, and I'm able to be available to anyone that needs certain, again, the choir was filled with, a lot of youths. So, I was able to, you know, um, advise,
Mhm.
lead them on, because uh, the position that we have as a choir, when you're a choir leader, is beyond. Is not a joke. There's a lot of spiritual um, thing that's we also have to be cognizant of.
Mhm.
So I never joked about it because
Mhm.
uh, you know so for
Yeah.
me that's
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Before I ask you any questions about being a choir leader and a leader, basically about leadership, before I get into that, I thought I asked you this question. How did you meet your wife?
Well, yeah, my very first time in Maryland was when I met her. So yeah, so it was my last, I think, so my last year in college. I've been praying for my own wife. My last year in college, been praying, and then I mean, you've seen people that will come to you and say, "God said you are their own wife,"
Yeah, that's
stuff
true.
like that,
Yeah.
So, but again, it's beyond the physical appearance,
Yeah.
So I visited Maryland the first time. My friend's, uh, you know, uh, birthday. So that was
Mhm.
when I came to Maryland the first time, and that was when I met her. So again, mind you, when I saw it, when I saw her, I approached her and then we talked, and then, but I never got a call back from my wife. And then when you see something and then you're like, I think I really like this person, and you wanted to just, um, you know, further engage in, communication, but you never got a call back for like a week. I said, what's going on? So it was the last Sunday that I said, well, I guess if this is not meant to be, you know, this will be it. So the last, I think it was on a Sunday that I said that, well, if I didn't hear back from her, I guess she's not my stuff. And mind you, she called back that night. She called
Mm.
back that night. Yes. She told me she attended Temple of Praise. I don't know if you know Temple of Praise in
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, then, and she told me there was a program going on that week. It's like when the call came in for me, you know, I don't know, like my heart was just, you know, so everything else has just been, so the year we met, we, I think it was the following year that we got married, actually.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
wasn't,
So
we didn't really date on our people. So I knew what, I think she's meant for me. It was what God
yeah,
ordained for me. And I saw her and we talked and we just planned.
yeah. It was basically you got the sign when you prayed and you said if you didn't hear any call back,
Yep. Yep.
that was it.
Yep.
Yeah,
That was it.
that's understandable.
Yep.
That's understandable. Yeah. And that basically that's you connecting with your spirit man, making sure that oh yeah, you didn't want to get into it without not confirming first
Yep.
with God that oh God, this I like this girl, but if I
Right.
didn't hear,
That's it.
that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. I like such love stories and even more. Yeah. So so now okay, getting into I mean you have a daughter with your
Yes.
wife,
Yes.
Lily.
Yeah.
How is it going though? With I mean, so for how long have you guys been married now?
Well, we've been married 10, going 11 years now.
Jesus,
Yeah.
10 years.
10 years. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a awesome, it's an awesome journey, you know. Yeah, it's 10
Lord
years.
of God. 10 years.
So yeah,
What?
yeah, married 10
And
years.
and you know, I mean, I thought about it, but I didn't know it was up to 10 yet.
Yeah, 10 years.
I didn't
We
know. Yeah.
we got married 2009. Yeah, that's 10. Yeah, 2009. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, yes,
Wow.
sir.
That's cool. That's fantastic. So now, so let's get into I mean, that's about marriage and all, but I would ask you a general question at the end of the conversation. Now, let's get into leadership. Um, I know you said being a choir leader is not, but not just that, you're a leader in so many spheres as a choir leader and family, I mean, in so many other spheres. Now, what's your leadership style? Let me just ask you that simple question.
Well, I'll say I'm not a tyrant. I, you know, I'm not a tyrant. I
Yeah.
allow, friendly, very open, because the position of leadership. Well, I don't really. Again, like I said, it's not a title. It's just being able to allow your have this open door
Mm-hmm.
and connect. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. Just connect with people. Listen. I like to listen a lot. Listen, because there are problems in leadership. So when there are problems, when there's conflict resolutions, I would say, how do we deal with conflict? So if you have that perception about, okay, I'm the boss here, whatever I say goes, you know.
Mm. Yeah.
So that is not leadership. So there, again, you when you're a choir leader for maybe a group of 15, all the 15 people are not going to be, everybody,
Yes.
we're coming, everybody comes from different places. Some people are telling you that, listen, I've been singing from this day, and I'm going to be leading, you know. So, and so the way you deal with such person is different from the way you deal with the other persons that you say, okay, I don't think it's time for you to engage in this aspect, you know, and the other person might tell you that, okay. I think I've got some learning to do.
To do.
I will learn. And the other person, so, we don't we don't throw fisticuffs. No, it's all about how do I connect with this person? Now I understand where this person is coming. So my leadership style is just, be open. I listen to what you have to say,
Mhm.
and let's see how we can come up with a solution.
So basically, you lead, and also you're also led. You lead and you're also led. So when you are being led, and that even though you're a leader, being led in the sense that you have followers, and it's, in some cases you follow your followers also, and also you have some level of authority above you. So followership at the top level and at the back level, lower level. So how do you toggle between the top level and the lower level in terms of also being a leader, managing your position as a leader, and in some level also being a follower at the top level and also at the lower level?
Hey, I think, again, every uh, lower and top, they're two
Mm-hmm.
different things.
Yeah.
And you still also want to make both groups realize that, there is, when there's a problem, both
Mm-hmm.
whoever is at the lower and the top still reports to someone, you know.
Yes.
So you just, you delegate appropriately, and then you try to just also, bring both groups together, and, being able to, when you come together, we hear ourselves, not just hearing me, hear the lower, and then hear the top. And then, just, it's like a building, we're all building ourselves together,
Mm-hmm.
top, you know, there's a reason why, it's top and, bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just been able to just listening to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has been what's
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what I
So,
engage more.
yeah. So can, like, just like, also, can you even paint a scenario like, I know there'll be some folks, a lot of folks listening to you, because we're not just, yes, I believe that even at this time, a lot of folks will listen, but even in the future, some people will come back to this chit chat and also look at it and also learn one or two things from Shei's life. So, and they will say, okay, fine. I mean, she is all the way up there. Is it that he never faced any um, problems? Yes, as a human being, there will be issues. It's just that we don't look like
What we've been through.
what we've been through. Basically, that's what it is. So my question to Shay is, when you, let me say, you pushed to the wall, right? You in a particular, both spiritual and physical, I mean, cases of battles and stuff, you push to a point where, like, you'd be like, God, I don't know, like, you are my only option. Like you said earlier, you tell God, basically, God help me. So when you are just give us a scenario and tell us how you came out from that. You understand that situation?
Now we're going into the application of 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 lives. People see things that we post on social medias.
Yes.
Some people, they've not we've not seen ourselves face to face, but yet people are connected. There's a reason for that. You see, my music is all about the application of my life. And I tell you this. You see, that's why I said it's Christ for me or nothing else.
Yeah.
And I've seen his manifestation, the God's power in my life. Difficulties, they are part of our life's journey. It's there in the Bible. The journey to greatness is not a smooth one. And then the Christianity journey, our Christianity journey is never going to be a smooth one. You will have people that they just, probably some people just dislike you for no reason.
True.
Is it because it's because of what? They notice there's something God is doing in your life. Or they notice anything. They don't know you, but it's just something about they just and I think so for me, okay, I give an example. My first album, the Power of God, that was released. So many have been, I mean, come to a time where I said, I have to just start working on my album. So worked with my cousin who was my producer then. So started. I was living on Long Island. He lives in Queens. So I'll be commuting. It wasn't an easy task. The times I'll
Hmm.
be commuting, you have flat tires, you have stuff like that, and I mean, it wasn't as if we had um, what do you call it? Like you have a music label that was doing all this thing. It was just you have to work. I have to go to a studio, record. There
Yeah.
were setbacks. There were things that happened, you know. And but God be the glory, released the album when I moved to Pittsburgh. The
Yeah.
album was released. And I'll tell you where this accountant now started. So I was working at this place, and the other managers that were working in the same departments then, one person just doesn't like the name Jesus.
Hmm.
She doesn't like the name Jesus. She practices all this occultic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's another manager. So now this is it. The lady next to me, a cubicle, she
Mm-hmm.
practices other things, and
Mm-hmm.
she's very happy about it. She say these things out for people. Like when you're very confident, there's just a power that's pushing. She tells you that I have to call the seven corners tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So now, and I'll tell you, and me, I believe in Christ. Then there's another manager that are cubicles next to me. She practiced witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, so when I released the album, there's a part in the Bible that says, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see a good work and glorify your Father which is in heaven." I got to
Yeah.
this place, I was very open talking about, the love of Christ. Everybody that I met, I gave them my CDs. Then the CEO of that company even said that I should come in. There's a church that wasn't too far away from where I worked. That was our church. He invited me to come there and minister. So I kept giving my CDs out. So in my department, every time I mention anything about Christ, do you know that this particular lady will get up and say, I shouldn't talk about that maybe.
Hmm.
That she grew up. Yeah, she grew up. Uh, she knows everything about the Bible, but that's not a thing. I should stop mentioning about the name. I went home that day. I said, this is just, one thing, and then you go see these people, I mean, that's the one. So, but this is why I brought that up. Before I
Yeah.
left the job, our communication, because I was praying at the same time because I knew what it was, praying that God, and this person, she's in darkness, and the
Mm-hmm.
light has to, shine. So this lady ended up not only buying CDs from me, then the
Hmm.
other one I told you that the other one I told you that practice witchcraft came that morning. I came to work and she told me that, guess what? I streamed your music. I gave it to my sister that's been going through depression to listen to it. Now, I don't know if you get my story. So I was I'm light there. We can also come to the power of darkness. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I saw Christ manifestation at work in their lives. Then the album that we just released, The Grace of God, the same year that I released that album, someone very dear to me was I'm telling you, diagnosed with cancer. So this is why I was telling you that people, that song that you see that was brought up, Grace of God, it was
Mm-hmm.
just the manifestation. This person is free of cancer. Uh, uh, and when you talk about cancer, you talk about, you know, the money that is involved. Nobody has the money to, support people
Yeah.
like this. So we saw Christ at work. It's like every time, I say to God, God, my life is for you. I just got to keep chasing after you. Things, devil throws stuff at you. Just want to shut your mouth. You know what I'm saying? That I know you have love for Christ, but this is, like a stumbling block that won't just want to stop you from not, focusing on those things. So the journey for me, so that was what brought about, the song Grace of God, just thanking God for, God's perfecting healing over this person. And then, not just that. So we saw Christ at work, So it's, I mean, that was why I said that this Christian journey is not, wasn't a smooth, I mean, it's not a smooth one, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that it's just the application of,
Mm-hmm.
my life. And I can't stop testifying about who Christ is to the world to know. So it's more than money for me. It's
Yeah.
it's more about the love of Christ. So, and because I've
Yeah.
seen him, I've experienced him. He has, in terms of healing, provisions, and and all these things. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, my advice is just that when you're faced with challenges of life, I've heard people that have talked to me that they're going through this thing, like depression, anxious. That's just a lie coming from, from the oppression of the enemy. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have anything, he always goes after people that have stuff. Devil always attacks people that, he knows that you want to really do these things for Christ, but it comes in a different, it's an oppression. So, but
Mm-hmm.
but we just need to, I think we have to quiet that thought and just keep chasing after Christ. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah. And the devil also, you understand, uh, attack people through the fact that they want to be um, popular.
yes,
They Yeah, they want, as creatives, like,
yeah,
so it gets into the mind of people that, oh, for you to feel fulfilled is when you become famous.
mhm, no,
Can you talk on that? Because I don't know why that is always the target. Like, because I'm a creative, the only time I think that I've actually arrived or I have fulfilled destiny is when I am famous, right? Is that a right mindset, or is it based on what the society has, you understand, brought into us as human beings to want to showcase ourselves as, you understand, that we've actually arrived?
yeah. Even I know there's this slogan that's, you know, our goal is for Christ to be seen in us.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That should be the goal. That Christ should be seen in me. So when Christ is seen in you, all these, yeah, people chasing after stardoms, or you just got to do what you have to do to get. I don't think that's the core, or that should be the core of
Yeah.
a Christian belief. You know, uh, the foundation have to be Christ. Living a fulfilled uh, life of Christ is us. I mean, the soul of man. So you might be running after mundane things, just like the Bible says, mundane things, and
Mm-hmm.
you think you're doing things for. I mean, there's so many things happening right now, and
Yeah.
people are distracted. But you think you're doing, yes. I mean, this is the particular thing people say, oh, we're doing the work of God. But again, if you're not, you yourself, if you're not fulfilled, if you yourself, you're not experiencing who Christ is, everything else is just,
Yeah.
you know, and talking about character, talking about, so many things, so, and I feel that if you can't be chasing after all these things and say that you're fulfilled. And no, well, it can be part of it, because again, if you look at the 12 disciples in the Bible, right? They all went out. I mean, you could look at the example of Saul, that's now Paul, right?
Yeah.
It's persecuted the churches, but again, they all of them were not chasing after. Let's leave Judas,
This
Judas.
guy, yeah,
But everybody, the goal was like the soul of man, the soul of
yeah,
man, the soul of man. So
yeah,
it's you just have to always
yeah.
go back to Christ. God,
That's
what
true.
are you saying? What are you saying concerning? So a lot of the music. You know, if well, again, we bring music out. Like I always say, and I've told people that somebody asked me that, who are the people? Yeah, I said, well, it's not just that we just want to bring music out. These are what people around you go through. When I hear stuff, this becomes God just turns it into something else.
Yeah,
So, you know,
yeah.
you
That's
know, yeah,
That's true. That's true. Because you said something. I mean, we'll get into the final lap. I mean, I didn't plan to take this much time from you,
that
even
was good.
to spend with family, but like because you said something about Paul, um, most of us they actually I'm not saying Bible scholars now. I mean, everybody studies the Bible, and but I'm going to make this a general question. Paul wasn't perfect. He
No, it
was
wasn't. No,
he was a persecutor of Christians.
yes,
Same applies to every one of us, even
yes,
me talking to
yeah,
you.
yeah,
I'm not perfect. There are certain
yeah,
things that I will do, and people will be like, "Ah, is it not Obina?" So the
yeah,
expectations people place on you certain times is just too high.
right.
But we also have to understand that we're also humans. There are certain days where we
Yes,
are going through our personal time,
yeah,
right? And we tend to act differently. It takes the grace of God
right,
to come out of that.
right,
You understand? The same grace of God that helped Paul come out of being Saul to
yeah,
Paul
yeah,
is the same grace that we are asking God to take us through. Probably we're getting angry about something, we're depressed about something.
right,
We don't want to, sometimes we don't want to laugh.
right,
We don't want to, you understand? It happens like that.
right,
And people judge you because of those little low moments.
right, right.
Yeah. And so what do you say to people that have a lot of expectations of you as Sheyi Oluwafemi? How do you handle it and what do you say to them?
Well, hey, everyone, you see, Shay is not a perfect person. Just like the Bible said, we're working towards perfection.
Yeah,
So, but recognize that the one behind, and there's someone before, and there's one beside us, and that is
yeah,
Christ. That is Christ. So the thing is, uh, we always go back to the Father.
yeah,
Like I said, this journey, Christ, just like we're using the example of Paul, a normal human reasoning would have said, this guy that killed counts him, he killed people, innocent, and you would have thought that he should have been killed. He's put
yeah,
to death. But Christ said, this same person will be used for my glory. That's Christ's glory, and the same person God used. So anyone that's out there, you know, condemning yourself or saying that you're not perfect, or somebody might just look at, you and I, for example, and say, man, this guy is just like everything just working perfectly for this guy. Why not me? But again, it doesn't work like that. There are days that I've got my low moments, high moment. But what do I do in my low moments? I go to Christ. That's the
yeah,
person that has, that can help. In fact, that you have so many people looking up to you, maybe as a brother, as a friend, or something like that. You always tell them that the strength is not you, it's just God, because that's who the foundation started from, and that's the
mhm,
person that my soul is going to be accountable to
yeah,
at the end of the day. So
that's
you
true.
know and it's all about what Christ is saying. And and I feel that the world that we're in today, there's so many. I've got someone that called me one time and said that, how do you do it? Because it's going through this thing, life.
Yeah.
It's about life. That was what the person was saying. And I shared some of my experiences, and I said, listen, everyone is going to face something here and there, and the lie of the enemy is to tell you that that particular thing that God has deposited in you, he just doesn't want you to fulfill that purpose.
Sure.
He doesn't want you to fulfill it, because it's more like devil trying to get people to go after a lot of the things of this world now, and then when it comes to things about Jesus, people are just so cold about it, like so cold. I'm like, why? Why? Somebody called me one day, one time, and said, Mr. Jesus. I said, I mean, bro, I'm not Mr. Jesus, but see, the thing is just, it's love. I've
Yeah.
been through stuff, you know,
Yeah.
you hear all these kind of things, but am I going to be down? Am I going to be depressed? Am I going to
Yeah.
now say that because I don't get these things I prayed about,
Yeah.
now I don't worship God no more? No, and so, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I only have just two last questions, and I promise these are just two last questions.
No
What
problem.
the for that's for family and your work and everything. How do you manage your busy schedule and family time? How do you do it?
Hey, the word balance is I mean, it was created for a reason. So I
Yeah.
mean, with the help of God, I've been able to just balance things, even when I'm on the road, trying to set time that it
Mm-hmm.
has to be for the family, and
Yeah.
then music time as well. So
Mm.
with the help of the Father, we've been able to God has been able to help, be able to balance these things. And again, like I said, it's just for me and for my family, it's just
Yeah.
Christ first, and then every
Yeah.
other thing
Yeah.
comes after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And final question. You're advised to put the young and the old on how to navigate life. Using your own personal experiences, you shared your own personal experiences. So using how far you've come in life, both the young and old, because there are also some old people that are still trying to get their self together.
Right.
The younger ones, some tend to get themselves together when they're young, while some don't really, they're still trying to figure out life and stuff. So what would you say to that restless mind out there trying to achieve something great in life? What would be your final words to them on this platform?
Hey,
Hmm.
don't give up on your
Yes,
dream. Don't give up
yes,
on your vision. Don't give
yes,
up on anything. Don't quit. You see, this thing about life is you can't quit. Follow follow after the things that the devil might be telling you that is difficult. You can't do it. You cannot amount to anything. No, you can do all things through Christ. And that's also the word that strengthens you. Even if you're not a Christian, you don't believe. There's so many, I mean, you can do it. And also I try to also follow people that, like another thing, like the people that we follow as well also matters. Like, I know some people tell you that they've been listening to this person, but again, someone misled them, or mislead
yeah,
them, and then they just can't trust anyone. But again, I'll tell you, that's human, you know, that's human. But again, follow after the heart of the Father.
yeah,
You know, just follow God. Never give up on your dreams. At times, things might be difficult. Different days, things will be difficult. But again, just keep on believing. Uh,
yeah,
put God first. For me,
yeah,
as a child of God, it's put Him first in everything. If He's not Christ's way,
mhm,
that doesn't mean that. God doesn't have you in mind. You
Yeah.
know, it will happen. There's just timing for everything in life.
Yeah.
Never give up. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Thank you so much, Shay. Guys, there's something I've learned from Shay just based on this conversation and also relating it to his lifestyle. Shay is, in terms of character, she is, like I said earlier, he's a very calm and cool person. Straightforward. When you talk about integrity, he has everything put together. But there's something that he keeps saying, if we listen carefully. He always attributes everything to the fact that there is a God somewhere. He always say, okay, fine, it's all about God. As much as this is happening, I'm doing this and that, it's always about God. I was trying to make sure that I shift the conversations here and there, but he will always relate it back to God. And it was intentional because I wanted him to keep saying that, right? So that the reason is because you have to take your eyes off the fact that this person is doing great things. You try as much as you can to shift your eyes to who is backing his whatever he's doing, right? So it's always about that person at the back. There's always somebody at the back she is always communicating to, and he basically revealed it today. It's always about God. My family, how I find my wife is God. How I did this is God. In terms of leadership, it is God. So basically, it's all about God. And that's the simple advice for today's conversation with Yuyoluwa for me. And I must say this, I also say this to him. I had it in mind when this idea came about to you experience. I had it in mind to call Shay. But I wanted to wait for the right time to bring him up on the platform. And immediately I had that go ahead, I had to call him up. And I told him this is what it is. And he said, yes, he's open to, and it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard to converse with him and tell him, oh, Shay, this is what it is, and this is where we're headed, and this is what we're planning to do. And he was like, oh, yes, I'm there. Right. So like you said, it's always about God. Shift your focus from self to God, right? And that ends our conversation tonight. See, do you have any last words again? Do you want to say anything?
Hey, I'm just grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate you. You know, just hey, just for everybody, just keep loving Christ. Honestly, that's I mean, our souls goes back to Him. He's the giver of life, and let's chase after Him. Tell the word. This word is not even violence, you know. So let's the ones that doesn't know Him, let them know the joy that we found in Christ. You know?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shay. And thank you everyone that will listen this year, next year, in 10 years' time. Thank you so much. And God bless you. All right, bye guys.